The Skol Purple Podcast starts now. Here's your host, Carson Schubert.
Hey everybody, Carson with the Skol Purple Podcast here. Make sure to like, subscribe, and ring the bell, of course. But I've got to talk a little bit about Stefon Diggs because I think he may be throwing, even if it's slight shade, he's throwing some shade at the Minnesota Vikings. I got a few clips here. Let's start with this one.
It's tough. I mean, I feel like personally, I'm just doing my job, but my guys are doing everything that they can. It's kind of hard because I was in a situation like in Minnesota. We ran the ball first. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of hard. Like, we trying to spread the ball as much as you can. You're trying to get your best players the ball. You know.
Now, you look at that, man, when he says what he says, that we ran the ball first in Minnesota. Like, you can kind of see his eyes kind of like, yeah, like that's what we did first in Minnesota. And like, as in, that's why part of the reason why I wanted to get out of there, which, I mean, that's no secret really, right? But I think just kind of alluding to the system that the Vikings were running offensively, that it was more of a run-first system, and that he was sick of it. He thought that the Vikings, and I'll share this more in another clip here, but he felt like the Vikings were more of a team with himself and Adam Thielen at the time that could expose defenses more than what they were doing, but they were more focused on running the football. Here's the second clip I find very interesting.
Yeah, 100%. I felt like definitely when I got traded, I picked up the book The Alchemist, and it definitely taught me a lot as far as like with timing and things lining up how they're supposed to line up. You know, my time in Minnesota was amazing. I love it. I still date back to be like, I had a great time in Minnesota. I don't have any bad taste in my mouth at all. There was some great people, great players, great coaches. It just didn't work out, and that's I mean, everybody here can attest to that's just how life works sometimes. You know, sometimes things happen. Sometimes curveballs are thrown at you and things are switched up. But I feel like this was part of my plan, the plan God had for me, and you know, my maturation process is now a lot of good things have happened to me since. You know what I'm saying? A lot. I feel like we could talk about it, but the list goes on. So I'm going to just stay where I'm at, be where my feet are.
Now, Stefon Diggs, of course, is going to say some good things about being in Minnesota and his time here, but let's be real. There were some real concerns that he had about his involvement in the offense because of the Vikings system that they were running. Offensively, they wanted to run the ball first and then play action, throw the ball 25 times or less per game, probably, and even 25 sometimes, maybe. That was not something they wanted to do. And so then he talks a little bit more about what it means to him to be in an offensive system that is more pass-friendly.
Everything that happens in your life is for a reason. And things are kind of setting you up for success or setting you up for whatever plan he has for you. So I feel like I took my lumps kind of in Minnesota. Even though I was a good player in Minnesota, what I wanted for myself was beyond measure. And I feel like I had to somewhat bet on myself. And, you know, in this game, it can go either way. So I probably was a little anxious when I first got here. But I felt like they made me comfortable by like not only having a quarterback that gives you confidence, and you know what I'm saying, he's more than just football. It was like he was my friend. So I just kind of like it kind of grew from there. And you know, you love being around certain people, and that was like a COVID year, so we had to spend so much time together, and I wasn't used to that. So I didn't see too many of my friends, and they became my family. So it worked out.
Maybe some subtle shots there at Kirk Cousins, and maybe I'm reading into it too much, but the fact that he said the quarterback became my friend, it wasn't just football, where it almost seems like he was saying, yeah, like Kirk's a good guy, but it was mainly a football relationship. It wasn't a friend relationship. And I think that's maybe where Diggs is coming from. But also just the idea of the Vikings being that run first offense when he was here, and he just felt like he was underutilized and he wanted to get out of here. And I think that was maybe his final, maybe not quite final, but one of his final subtle shots at the Vikings, mainly in that first clip of like, yeah, we ran the ball first in Minnesota. Like, yeah, we probably shouldn't have done that because we would have been more successful. But that's just what I'm thinking. A little bit of shade thrown. I think overall, Diggs is happy about his time in Minnesota. Obviously, the most iconic play in franchise history happened with him hauling in the Minneapolis Miracle to defeat the Saints back in 2017. And again, we will not relive the Philadelphia game the following week. Anyways, that's going to do it. Let me know your thoughts. Was he throwing shade? Was it just me reading into it too much? Could all be. But I definitely think there was the slightest hint at shade, and maybe it wasn't so slight. That's why I picked up on it. But obviously, it's worked out for the Vikings. We got JJ. Diggs has got a quarterback named Josh Allen, who's pretty good. May not play Sunday. Beside the point. But anyways, thanks for watching. Make sure to ring the bell, subscribe, and leave something in the Venmo if you don't mind. And as always, Skol.